Welcome in another episode of Going for Two, and as you can tell, we are back in our state-of-the-art studio down here at 100 Kellogg's. We're right here in the clubhouse. Whether you're coming down for a couple cold beers or just to hit the golf simulator, I can assure you, you will not get rained out here. So we love it down here, and we brought on a new guest, and Chad's going to intro our man here.
Before I jump into our new guest, I just want to know, you said golf simulator. I want to know how much you're cheating on your handicap when you play that thing.
Well, because you can boost it, right?
That's what I mean.
I'm going to shoot 450-yard drives here, and I'm pretty comfortable with it. I'm not sure if I'll ever play on grass again.
You know what they tell you, though?
Wild, you can't make it 4-foot putt.
Yeah.
You drive for show, you putt for the dough, right? So.
Well, yeah, exactly. And you know what? I think it would be great for Chad's knees for us to just play all of our rounds here.
Yeah. By hole 15, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
The only steps you have to take are from the mat back to the couch, right?
And I have to fireman carry him back into the golf cart, so it's a whole thing.
That's the booze, though, not the knees.
Yeah.
But we do have a special guest on today. He's a linesman.
Yep.
In the OHL, Brad Horan. Thanks for coming on.
No worries.
Horn with an H, by the way. And if you're wondering, yeah, he is about 7 feet tall. Just in case you're watching this and you're like, how big are that guy's legs? Like, they're big.
Well, you're definitely the ref that if there's a call, none of the players are arguing with you, right? Like, they go, I'll find another guy to argue with, right?
They love to argue.
It doesn't matter if you're tall, short, doesn't matter, right?
It's just nice when you get in there, they're a little smaller, you can throw them around a bit. Yeah, that always works.
Did you grow up playing hockey? Is that how you came into this world, or how did you come into it?
Yeah, so like when I was younger, I moved away from home actually at a young age, like 12, and when I played in Toronto, which is one of the better minor hockey leagues in the world. And then, so I played hockey my whole life, played in the OHL for 5 years for Kingston. Then went to Acadia on a scholarship, played 4 years there. That's when they started talking to me about reffing, but never thought about it at all. Then I came back and started playing senior. And then one of my buddies, Shandor Alfonso, we were playing senior together, and he's now NHL linesman. He said, you should get into reffing. I said, all right, did it. Next thing you know, here I am, right? That's the way it went.
Obviously loving it, eh?
Oh, it's a great time. It's a lot of time in your hands. Like, you're traveling a lot. But to be a part of the game, I've always been, every weekend I've been at a rink my whole life. You know, so it's different, right?
Well, and that's the thing. Like, you can chase the dream all the way through, right? Like, you played it your whole life, and you said 5 years in Kingston. I'm sure you have a bunch of awesome stories from playing.
We cannot talk about it right now.
Yes.
That might be something that we save for the live show when we get into it. And then you went and played uni hockey, which is obviously a big deal. And then, you got into it. I don't know, is that late in the game? Like, playing senior and getting into reffing, is that late? Or, like, did you ref, like, a little bit of, like, minor?
No, absolutely. It was definitely later. Like, I didn't start till I was almost 30. I'm 41 now. I just had my birthday. Some people were over the other night there.
Yeah. This guy doesn't look 41.
Yeah, he aged better than I did.
Yeah.
Well, I wish. Well, I wish I could be still 20. But just one of those things. Like, I did definitely get into it late. I was like 30 years old. Like,
okay.
That's what I mean. When I finished Acadia University, I was at 25. They're like, "Oh, you want to ref?" I was like, "No, I still want to play." But like, we have guys now came right out of junior.
Right.
They're right with us the next year. Like, I have partners that are 20 years younger than me now. And they're on the path to go to the show, right? So it's neat to see all the different guys that have come through the league.
So, like I was saying, you go and you get certified to ref, obviously. Is there do you have to start at a certain level of hockey before you get to like the big leagues, to major junior hockey? How does that work?
So basically, I think Hockey Canada still. I'm no longer certified because OHL is more of a business, so we don't have to have certifications anymore, but I used to be certified. You start at 14, I think is the youngest you can be, and then you're not supposed to be able to ref anybody that's 2 years younger than you. You're level 1, and then after that it goes level 2, level 3, level 4. I believe now they've even changed it. It's now elite or elite. I'm not even sure because I'm not a part of it anymore, but it's and honestly, God, I always tell young kids to get into it. It's the best part-time job, paying job you can ever get. You know what I mean? Reffing, where else you get paid $30 an hour? Not McDonald's, not Tim Hortons, or not anywhere, right?
Yeah.
So,
right.
So that's why those
you
old
can control your own
timers are so
schedule.
good. Yeah.
Right?
Oh, and you mentioned about the workouts. He doesn't look like he's 41. I think about these old-time refs in the NFL, and like they're old. They can barely run up and down the field. But the old-time refs in hockey, those guys are fit. They're still ready to go, right?
Oh,
We'll
absolutely.
meet you on Friday for a couple of drinks.
Yeah.
It's not like, football or baseball is one of the worst ones to see. Some of those guys been around for 30, 40 years, and they have the biggest barrel on them they've ever seen. You know what I mean? But he just knows the game, and that's the way it is. But hockey, you have to skate. Mm-hmm. There's no other option, right? So, yeah, you stay in shape. A lot of these guys in the NHL, they do tough mudders and all those things. Like, they're right into it, right?
Right, yeah.
It's crazy.
Now, you mentioned you're a linesman. Just for the people that are out there, the different positions on the ice for the refs, what are the names for them?
So just basically you have a ref, like referee, and then a linesman. So linesman, we obviously deal with the lines, like icings, offsides, all that stuff. Some major penalties, we see them, we report them after the whistle. But the referees deal with all that stuff. But we're the guys that get into the mix, right? So that's why it's nice being my size.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Getting into the mix, you get in there, you just start throwing
So
things
are you
around.
the one that's splitting them up while the ref is watching at the back to see
He's
who's
watching,
still
taking the
around?
numbers if he needs to, right?
Yeah,
like,
okay,
this
gotcha.
guy's being an idiot, this guy's being an idiot.
Could you imagine being like a 5'8" high school kid, and then just this guy just puts his arm out on each side? Look at the wingspan on them.
Yeah, it's like the old Dustin Bufflin. Sometimes you grab a kid. I have videos where I'm grabbing two guys, put them on the window, like, get out of here, you're done. You know, like,
Yeah.
Stop it.
You ever
Exactly.
given them the old face wash as the ref? Can
By
you
accident?
even
You
do that?
ran it
Can you pull that off?
out. You think by accident?
Yeah, sometimes you throw a little elbow here if you like stop it. Like we're not
Yeah.
going to prom. Stop holding on each other.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, sometimes you get in there, you get creative.
Yeah.
You say words.
Get creative. I
Yeah,
like
you
that
say
one.
words. Like you're just like what? And you're just like, okay, now we're done. Okay, go the
Yeah.
line up. We're done. Right. So it's pretty funny that way sometimes. I have younger guys actually see I say some stuff. They're just like, what the hell did you just say? Like, didn't matter. They're gone now. We're starting over again. Here we go.
Everybody knows we're in London. You mentioned there's some distance, some driving involved, traveling involved for you. How far have you gone to do your reffing? And
For me, as a linesman, I don't go as far as like some of the referees. Like I go to Saginaw, Michigan. There's, especially being in London, there's so many rinks around here. Well, like within an hour and a half, 2 hour span, right?
Yep.
But the referees, they'll go everywhere. Like, they'll go up to Sioux. Sometimes they fly to Ottawa. So it could be anything, right? But as a linesman, you get a little more regional. But being in this area, it's nice. There's so many teams.
so you may have 20 linesmen to the pool, but you really only have 5 refs to the pool, kind of thing. So there's more travel for them.
Yeah, there's definitely more travel for them. Like I think total on staff, we've got like 105 people. But like there might be 5 guys in the Sioux that are just linesmen. So they, the linesmen don't go up there very often.
Yeah.
But the referees will fly up for a 2-game weekend from Toronto or from Ottawa,
Wow.
and they'll come back, right? So just because referees make the calls, right, so to say, so they don't want the same guy over and over again.
Right.
The homer type of thing, right? Like,
Sure.
So yeah.
Well, and that's what was my next question was, are they making this schedule? Like, do you know where you're going in August by December, basically? Like, do you have your schedule all the way built through, or do they base it on like, oh, this guy made a couple of I almost swore they made a couple of tough calls while they were on the road. We can't put this guy back in this environment. We have to ship him down here. So bring this guy up this way.
Like in the NFL, you get report cards. Is that kind of
yeah,
what you're thinking?
exactly.
Yeah, we have supervisions a lot. Like, so there's we have our officiating managers, they call them, and they do supervisions. If they're at the game, they tell you how you did, whatever. But for referees, it's more like maybe they'll send for the Sioux schedule.
Yeah.
They ask early who can go what week, because they're flying guys up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But like around here, it's usually you're 3 weeks out, 2 weeks out. You set your availability on this web browser.
Okay.
And then you're available. Boom, here you're going. You said you're available. You can go here. You're going. So that's basically the way it works.
So if you're a London guy, there's a chance you could ref or be a linesman in the London Knights game, or they try to keep
Absolutely.
you separate. Okay.
Yeah, I can be a Friday night here and then Saturday night in Saginaw or Sunday night in Saginaw, whatever, or go to Guelph or Kitchener. Yeah, I don't get as many games I wish I would in London. I go to Sarnia, it feels like more my home. I don't know why, but I feel like I'm in Sarnia every weekend, but I wish it'd be more London.
Yeah.
Then again, everybody's asking for tickets when I'm home, so.
Yeah, I can see that. No problem. Yeah. So
Yeah.
you mentioned about the supervision for as far as grading for you. Is that in person? That there's some random person at a random game in the stands watching you do your thing, or is this all video supervision kind of thing after the fact?
Video is starting to come in,
Yep.
but usually it's somebody's on your game. Like you see them in your schedule, they're coming. Your officiating manager, so they'll come down and say hi before the game. There's only maybe 7. I can't remember. There's your desk and everything else. I don't know what number we're at, but they come in, they talk to you, and then after the game they'll talk about calls or something that maybe you didn't see they didn't like or whatever, and maybe we dealt with that differently. So it's they're coming, and then that's it. But then we started to do the video, so that's a little different. Cause you don't have some kids have the fear, like, oh, there's a manager here. I got to make sure I'm on top of my game like this.
Yeah.
Now as a video manager, you go in the same way if you're not like that, and they
Yeah.
like this video, and then you get a call. Like, oh shoot, you're watching. You know?
Well,
The red light
everything
camera.
looks worse on video too, right? Like you can slow it down and play it in like the smallest chunks of frames, and you're like, oh yeah, I could have got that, except for it was 5 times faster, and I was flying up and down the ice. So it's difficult, right?
You mentioned something there that I want to latch on to. As a linesman, hangs out with the referees, right? And we've begun to go into this age of digital replay and challenging calls and stuff. Are you a traditionalist where you say, let me make my call on the ice and leave me the hell alone? Or are you enjoying these digital replays that are going to be overturning some of the calls on the ice by your buddies?
I'm definitely old school.
Yeah, I bet.
You know, like,
I would
especially
be
as a
too.
linesman, like now, like used to be a blade heavy on the ice, now the foot's up, makes it a lot easier.
Yeah.
I think it's over the line. I like that. You have people like, especially on the bench side, the coach behind you yelling at, oh, it's offside. Like, you know what? I waved it. If it's really, they'll come back to it and they'll get it going. Like, whatever, right?
Yeah.
You only do what you can. They're like, why don't you just wave everything? Like, well, then what's my integrity of the game? Why am I here?
Yeah.
Right.
Just to sit here and wait for people to break up people? You know, so it's different.
I only
It's
come here
different.
for half of the reason, right? That's what I just want to
right.
buff up the kids a little bit.
Oh yeah, that's where my game starts usually. Like when the whistle goes, and now I'm full speed into the traffic areas, right? Like it's crazy.
It's awesome.
So like the game's changed a whole lot since the last 20 years. Definitely since you've played.
Absolutely.
I do find after the whistle, a lot more stuff is like stop before it starts now. Where I think when you played, and when I don't know what play level you played, when I played, they let things go a lot further. How was that ref? Like when you started reffing 10 years ago, have you seen the change? And like, what are they like coming at you to say like, we need you to do this after the whistle?
Honestly, guys, the biggest thing is just fighting is getting pulled out of the game more and more. And I feel like when you played, if I did something to you, I'm fighting next shift.
Yeah.
Right? So now it's like you feel like some of these kids, they grab and they just hold on to the jersey the whole time. And I say, are we dancing tonight or not? Like, let go, or let's just talk, right? And it's different. It's totally different. Like, and I talk to coaches, a lot of the coaches I played with or against, and they're like, nobody fights anymore. Otherwise, this crap would stop. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
after the whistle crap. They just hold on. Like, hey, you're going to do something or not? Let's just go play hockey.
So,
right?
so
Like,
is that what it comes down to? Is somebody, if you got 2 guys that are there, because I've been in many Knights games where you think a fight's about to break out, and then suddenly it just doesn't. And you got the crowd that's booing because we all think that it's the ref that's stopping it there. But if the ref or you are standing there and those 2 guys are saying, I'm ready to go, are you letting them go, or are you making an executive decision? At some point you say, listen, you're 5 inches smaller than this. You're going to get your butt kicked. We're not making
You're
this
gonna
happen.
eat this guy or
Yeah,
something.
we're not letting this happen on my watch, right?
Yeah.
Is that happen to you, or is it simply just, so I got to know, I'm going to have 5 fights
I know
tonight?
what you mean.
Yeah.
Like, I know exactly what you mean. Like, sometimes you get in there, and it's this guy my size against a little guy. You're like, you're not going to fight this guy.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just
Right.
stop now, and let's play hockey, because no one's going to fight you. You're too big of a beast or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And that's part of my job. I go right to him. The first guy I go to, the whistle's that guy, so nobody like pokes the bear. You know what I mean? Like, sort of thing, right? So it's like I go right to that guy. And sometimes, yes, we start. I'm old school, so I like it to happen.
Yeah.
And one guy, sometimes they've told me in warm-ups, like, hey, I'm going with this guy's name. Like, all right, that's no problem. If it happens, let's go. But if you're going to sit there and hold each other, we got to stop this. You know what I mean? Like, we got to stop it, right? So
I remember one guy telling me that he saw a kid with braces on. He said, all you're going to do is mess those and mess your fists up. Like, I'm not letting this fight happen today kind of
yeah,
thing.
like
So-
sometimes you try to get in there, like especially like helmets pop off. You know, it's now like concussion problems and everything else, right? You
The
wanna
new
make
rule,
sure-
right? As soon as the
Yeah.
helmet's off, it's over, right?
Exactly, right? Where back in the day, we used to have the guys take their hats and spin them as we're going.
That's
It doesn't
right.
happen anymore.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that
crazy.
and you know you've been reffing for a long time, and you've had the fortune to be in the OHL and to ref the OHL. So like, talk about some of the best players that you've seen, because obviously there's been a lot of guys going through there. Whether you played with them or whether you ref them, like, do you kind of get into a trance of like spectating as a ref? Because I think that would be a difficult part for me. Like, I like to watch.
Oh, yeah.
the
Like,
sport
could you
more.
imagine being able to watch Connor McDavid play?
Oh, that's
Yeah,
what
Like,
right?
you're like,
That's the thing.
you
is,
get
like,
mesmerized by it almost.
yeah, you might miss a call because you're watching this guy like dingle and dance, right?
Yeah.
absolutely, there's some players. I just missed Connor McDavid. I came after him, but there's some players you see that are unbelievable. Even the guys I played with, like I played with Spez. Spez and I are the same age. Like,
Yeah.
he was a really good kid right from the get-go, like exceptional status. the hands, the vision was great. You know what I mean?
Right.
Toughness, not the same, but like that's why when he played for Toronto, it's nice to see him step up a few times in his career. But yeah, like you see some players, like even like Shane Wright that went through Kingston, came to Windsor, like you see some passages, like I didn't see that. How did you see that whole? Because as a linesman, sometimes like for me, body position, I'm like, okay, I look at, okay, where is he going? So I know he's got this option, that option, so I'm not in the way.
Right.
Somebody like, I didn't see that guy. How'd that guy come out of the play, right? It's neat. Some of the players you see, you can just tell they have that different step, different level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like back in my day when I played, it was a little different because I feel now that kids are more robotic. They're like everybody's doing training 24/7 all year round. Where
Right.
we like played hockey and then we farmed or do whatever, played baseball in the summer, and then we went back.
That sounds like what
camp.
Crush was talking about,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Same idea.
Yeah, you go back to training camp to get in shape.
Yeah, that's
You know,
right.
now these kids are in shape 24/7, ready to go, and they're just constantly going at it, right? It's a totally different game now. It's different.
You mentioned dodging those kids as they're coming around you, the angle they may be taking. Are you guys out there like that dodgeball movie? You guys having wrenches just thrown at each other so you can
Pass
learn to
over
dodge?
land.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like,
Sometimes when you're going into a fight, it's like that. You see the sticks flying, especially skates.
Yeah.
You know, I have a buddy that actually got ill. He got cut in the neck. What's his name? Kevin Brown. And he's one of those ones that's why we wear neck guards now.
Yeah.
Right. So like, just you gotta pay attention going into these things, and sometimes the sticks are flying. Like you see me going like dodging. Okay, now I can get in this area, right? Like it gets sometimes a little scary, and there's also pucks flying. I wear no gear.
Yeah.
Like I just have a little shin pad on, and that's about it. Right?
Yeah.
Elbow pads in case I fall, and that's it.
And when those kids are coming up the ice, are they saying to you, I would prefer you just to stay still, or they prefer you to actually try and maneuver and get the heck out of the way? Like, are they just going to dance off of you kind of thing, or how's it going to play?
Yeah, that better the level. Like if you're doing like junior C or minor hockey, better the level. Like OHL, they know where you are.
Yeah.
Right? They know where you are, and just like and I'm a big presence there, so I'm sure they see me even as the corner of their eye. So they know where you are, and they move around you.
How big are you on skates?
Oh, probably like, I don't know. I duck indoors, so 6'8".
That's Victor Hedman height, bro.
What a unit.
I know, that's
What a
crazy.
unit.
That is crazy.
Yeah. That's why I'm a linesman. It's bigger.
Yeah.
Taller guys are good for linesmen, while the shorter guys are referees.
Yeah.
Like this week, obviously the London Knights won the OHL championship. The head coach from the Oshawa Generals came out and said the referees were intimidated by Dale Hunter. I don't want you to get yourself in trouble or anybody else in trouble, but do you feel that some referees and some coaches have that reputation where like coaches are belittling and bullying refs in the calls? I don't want names, but like, do you ever find that's a thing?
Oh, we want names, but you probably shouldn't say
Everyone wants names.
Yeah.
Well, we have the number one culprit,
It's
right?
a fresh article that just came out.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah, I read
thought it was
a bit
kind of
about it.
I thought it was a bush league kind of like I'm gonna play in trouble. You got your ass kicked 4 straight games.
Yeah.
And
They let in over 7 goals per game.
yeah. So for you to come out and say that's why I did on the one game you were winning, maybe just close the game out was my thought process. You're now fishing for
There was 6-1 at one point, right?
6-2. Like
Yeah.
you have no business losing that game.
Yeah.
You both playing the refs I thought was like complete bull. But like have you ever seen or do you find that some coaches try to bully their way into things?
That's part of their job, right? Like you can see sometimes coaches on a bench yelling at a ref just to get their players fired up.
Yeah.
But then there's some that then the players act the same way. And you're like, oh my God, if you would just be quiet yourself and take care of your bench, then we'd be okay. And like I said, it's part of the job. And sometimes, I'm not saying it's an excuse or not, I didn't actually watch the game, so I don't know what happened. But yeah, some people will say like, you're in London, and the other coaches be like, oh, you're in London, you can't disappoint 9,000 fans because they have a big fan base, right? And it has nothing to do with that at all. It's just we're
It
just
actually
calling the
happened
game
in
as it
Oshawa.
goes.
Oshawa was at home.
Yeah.
So it's even like that's
Yeah,
what
exactly,
the call
right?
would
It's
make
just-
no sense.
Is there another arena like London in the OHL?
Kitchener's got a great fan base. Like London and
Okay.
Kitchener are the two like big tops. Like when you go to there, you feel like you're in the show.
Okay.
Yeah, in the way they run their programs, right? Like it's pretty good. It's really neat.
Yeah, so Kitchener has about 10, almost.
Well, they used to
9,000
call it
people.
Baby Maple Leaf Gardens back in the day, right? Like the old gold section, or whatever. But yeah, Kitchener is very proud. And like when you get those two teams together, it's a
You're only
rough game
45
for me.
minutes
I'm
away,
working the
right?
hardest probably I've had to work that game.
Yeah.
Because they're under each other's skin constantly, right?
And you
Like
got like 45 minutes away. Fans can travel that
Oh,
game,
yeah.
no problem.
oh yeah, and they have their own like podcasts or interviews after, and you hear the fans talking, yapping, and all this stuff, right? It's like, here you go.
You mentioned you're a traditionalist. Something that's incredibly traditional with reffing that has never changed is the outfit. Like the uniform has just been black and white stripes forever. Is this something that you've, as a group of your linesman referee friends, have sat together and said, I wouldn't mind something different this year as a one-off outfit to wear, kind of thing?
No, it makes it a little zebra look.
Yeah, I was
right?
gonna say, you like walking
Zebra
around looking
look,
like a zebra all the time?
I like
Yeah, it's good. Everything's black and white, right? It's not like you got to make the calls. Like, I know sometimes they have pink in the rink and they put like pink stripes.
Yeah.
But I like it.
I bet you'd be a really big target if you had to wear pink stripes right now.
Yeah.
You never know, yeah. But yeah, it's the way it is. It makes sense, right? It's hard to go any other way. I know in European leagues they have a lot of ads.
Yeah.
And something I look at them like, oh, why? Like.
Well, I figure if
Why
one
are we
league's
an
going
ad?
to do
We're
it, it's
here
going to
to
be like the
call something.
Swiss or Euro League that's going to have the
Yeah.
refs go into yellow or green jerseys like soccer or something.
I just think of the Mighty Ducks whenever they talk with the ads. We're Ducks, coach. Why does it say Hendricks?
Yeah.
It's like,
Right? Yeah, no, it's what it is, right? I like it. It makes sense.
Now, one of the rules that every fan I think I've ever talked to since it came in a few years back, the instigator rule. Everybody I know that hates this rule because the refs have got to pick on somebody to give them the extra couple of minutes for it. You're a traditionalist. You like a bit of rough and rowdy here from the sounds of it on the ice. Do you like that rule? Is that something you like to see just taken away?
Well, it's one of those rules too because we stopped fighting, right?
Yeah.
Like,
And I think
back
that
when
killed
I
it.
played,
That rule killed it.
3 guys in my team had 50 fights a year. I was 150 fights between 3 guys. Now you're only allowed 3 fights a year per guy.
Really?
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
So it's 10.
Oh, it's 3 unless you're instigated upon. So
Oh,
say,
so you can go out if I get like 5 fights in a year.
Yeah, for instance, I hit you.
Yeah.
And he wants to jump me because I hit you. Well, he instigated, so I don't get a number on my tick.
Even though you instigated against me.
So, well, I could have hit you perfectly clean.
Yeah, oh,
no
okay, that's what
penalty,
you're saying, okay.
Right?
Clean hit,
But
yeah.
he's like, oh, you blew up my buddy. Now I'm going to go fight you. Well, I don't get a number because I was instigated upon.
Wow.
Right? So that's how it works. That's why you see all those differentials all the time.
So the rule of thumb is be the bigger hitter anyway, the initial hitter, right? And that way it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, it could work like
Come
that.
challenge
Yeah,
me then
absolutely.
now. Yeah, I like
Oh,
it.
yeah, well, back in the day, remember when Clark hit the guy behind the net and just points at him, you coming next?
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah.
Who's coming, right? But that used to be the way it was. The instigating was not that way, and that's sort of the way they get around the fight rule a bit too, right? Like, and then because once you do 3 fights, then you start getting suspended. So some guys like, oh, you got instigated upon, I don't want to get suspended. You got 3 fights.
Yeah.
Right. So then the coach is asking to make sure there's an instigator or whatever, right? So it sort of works that way. It's the way the new rule is, and it's a lot of it's insurance, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Heads hitting ice and everything else is insurance. Come and plays the game.
Yeah.
Well, and so we're on the cusp of the Memorial Cup starting, and we've had the World Juniors in town and like in the area. So like being at the level you're at, like, do you get the opportunity to jump into that? You have to like throw your ticket in there, or do you have to? Is that a different type of certification you need to
Would
jump
you like to be a linesman? No, it all matters on your year, right? Like
Okay.
basically we get stacked ranks at the end of the regular season. There's so many people make playoffs this round, and how it goes, you could have had a bad game, made a bad call, you don't make the second round. You don't make the third round. Like, and it gets shorter and
Okay.
shorter and shorter, the list. So do you have any announced yet for the OHL, like who's making the Men Cup?
Okay.
So we'll see what we get this year because it's in Ontario. I think we get 4 linesmen and 3 refs, 2 refs. I can't remember.
It's in Ontario this year?
Well,
Saginaw.
Ontario,
Oh, it's
Saginaw,
OHL, okay.
Saginaw, Michigan, OHL.
okay.
So
we
do
haven't
you-
had it in a while. Last one I think was in Windsor.
Do they send refs all over the country though?
Yeah, so like the double get 1 and 1, and
Okay.
the Q gets 1 and 1, and then we take care of the rest.
Gotcha.
A lot of that's expenses and travel. That's the reason why. Right?
Nice.
But yeah,
Yeah.
So it'd be nice to see it's coming up. And they said London did a great job this playoff. Only lost twice.
Yeah.
And so they're looking good.
Now talking about stack rankings, I don't want to throw anybody else under the bus, but I like to pride London on the fact that we have so many people that do everything well here in different variations of sports. What is our ranking as far as refs and linesmen go? Do we have some pretty good guys around here? Or
Yeah,
always Saginaw the better one to go to? Or
Well, no, we don't.
Well, we got the top linesman on the show.
yeah.
We don't have very
No, I
many
need
Americans. We don't have very many American guys because works with work visas too, right? Coming across borders and stuff. So, and we have a couple guys in the States, and then there's a fair. I think we have like 5 refs in London and like 4 linesmen. And then like near the Kitchen area, we got a few more that have been around even longer.
Okay.
And then like Ottawa's got a few guys. A couple. The linesmen, those guys will be more regional. Maybe go to Kingston, maybe Peterborough. That's it. But yeah, that's like I said. Being in this area is nice. You can go everywhere, right?
Yeah.
The rinks are like an hour and a half from you.
Yeah.
So it sort of works nice that way. But yeah, we got some good guys. We got some bad guys. We got everybody. Depends who's talking, right? Like.
Yeah.
So if you wanna, you wanna take the old lady out for a date in Ottawa, you just sign up to be the linesman in Ottawa, and they put you up for the weekend, or how does that work?
If I said to our scheduler, Herb, who's been around since day one of the OHL, I said, hey, I'm going to be in Ottawa this weekend, and you want to sign me a game, he'll try to make it work. Right?
Who's this that's
awesome.
been around since the beginning of the OHL?
Well, Herb Morrell.
Okay.
Great guy. He's been around. He's been around with Branch forever. Like they've been like the start of the O, like out of the basement type thing.
That's cool.
So he does that. He also works with like the baseball team, London Majors. He's in that league as well.
Oh, really?
Statistician. He does everything. He's a guy that just gets everything done.
That's really cool.
You need something to happen, he gets it done.
Neat.
So if you're out of town, you're like, hey, I'm here for the weekend. These guys be like, I'm working in Windsor this weekend. I'm from Belleville.
Yeah.
I'll do a game in Windsor while I'm there. Okay. Sure, we'll make it happen. So it works.
Why not? So we're in a place that has a simulator for just about everything. Does it bother you a little bit that there's no referee simulator, or linesman simulator for? So would you like to see somebody mixing it up on the screen so that you can call penalties, or like?
No, I would love to see people try to call it penalty.
Okay, yeah.
That's what I love to see.
Yeah.
In real time.
Or call
not the slow mo.
Call it proper offside or racing or whatever. Yeah.
It's like sometimes you do high school hockey just for fun, and you get the parent on the side for their arm up. I just start waving back at them. Do you need something?
Yeah.
What's going on here, right? Like that's not a penalty. Because there's a lot of game management, like what you call a 1 minute penalty, 2 minute penalty, right? It's a little tap, it's not worth it. So you move on, let the game flow. Otherwise we'll be here all night. Right. Some people want to call a game, we were 5 hours away to call that game if you wanted it, right?
So there's an unwritten rule that penalties don't get called in the playoffs or when the game's on the line. Is that a real thing? Just pull on your 1 year if it is.
No.
I guess the line is you wouldn't call a penalty if it's going to swing like a penalty shot. If there's a tie game and there's a minute left, you're not going to make that call.
Because I'm the guy. I firmly believe put the whistle in your pocket. That's my honest opinion. Whether I'm winning or losing, if it's a close game, I don't care what the call is. I don't want that jeopardizing how the game turns out.
Right, and that's sort of what the regular season's about. You set a standard during the regular season, right? And they get used to it. And the teams, as they go further along, they don't want to be penalties either, so they abide by the rule. So then that's why you don't see as much called in the playoffs or whatever, right? You let them play. They understand what the standard is, and we're going to maybe play the line, whatever, but that's it. It's not like you're like, oh, it's playoffs, we can't call it. Mm-hmm. If it's a penalty, it's a penalty. Yeah, right? But the players get smarter over the year as the year goes on, right?
And the good teams are playing still, right? You're not bad teams playing. The good ones are in the playoffs for a reason, right? So they're probably not in penalization trouble too much, right?
Yeah, we watched the Leafs. Let's let go. I'm a Leaf fan, and look at that. They won for 21.
They don't want to talk about the power play right now.
I could call penalties all day on them. Right, Boston, what didn't matter, right? So.
Well, and that's a good point. And as we kind of get through it, what does we got about a minute left. What does your off season look like? We're hoping that you're at the Mem Cup, but once that's done, you get into June. What is June, July, August? Do you get yourself out skating at least once a week, or do you just take some time off for yourself?
A lot of times I'm done for every weekend I'm gone.
You find the nearest golf course too, right?
Yeah, I like to golf. Absolutely, I like to golf. I wish I could have more, but a lot of times those weekends now they get jammed with going to a cottage or wherever, right? I'm going to go to Detroit to watch a Blue Jays game or something.
Yeah.
Just because you're in the rink every weekend, sometimes you got to go away. Some guys skate. The odd time I skate in Toronto for a weekend, there's a lot of summer hockey going on.
Yeah.
I'll go down there and just skate for 8 hours straight, make some cash, go away. That's it, right? Go visit my family, and that's it. Done. Yeah. But other than that, it's just you still try to keep fit and work out all the time. But that should be all year round, anyways, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
So
we appreciate you coming on. We appreciate you taking the time. You're right in the heart of it right now, and we're getting on the cusp of the off season. But we appreciate you coming by. You definitely taught us some things that we had no idea about that 3-fight rule.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys did.
No, I did.
There's a lot of rules. Honestly, I tell you one as a linesman: blue line, offside. Blue line's like this. Is this my leg?
Yeah.
When the puck crosses, it's got to cross fully that line, but on the way out, it's got to cross fully this side of the line.
Yeah.
And there's people always don't understand that and argue that. I was like, okay, you don't understand it.
I didn't know that one. That's a good one to know, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to have you on and break down a little bit more hockey rules for us. We appreciate everybody checking it out. We appreciate you taking the time, and we'll see everyone next week.
Absolutely. No worries. Thanks, guys.